So my subscriber Danny sent me a video from Matt Damon, and he was talking about taxes. And I think the general thing was he was kind of saying, big deal, tax me more, whatever. So he was supportive. I believe he was supportive of essentially taxing the rich, right? They should pay more, right? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. As someone who is not a one percenter like Matt Damon, but I am within the top 5%, I would say it might be interesting for those that are make a lot less money than I do and they're overly concerned about the wealthy and them being taxed too much. Listen, man, I don't make anywhere near what Matt Damon makes, but I don't really think about taxes. I would definitely like if I didn't have to pay them, because I mean, that would essentially double my income. But outside of the current crisis that I'm in, normally when things are normal for me, I have enough money to get what I want. I have enough for my healthcare, for housing, for, nice cars, go on nice vacations, have a nice dinner. I can generally get the things that I need for sure, and generally get the things that I want. And taxes are not really something I even think about necessarily. Obviously, I think about it. I mean, it's coming out of my paycheck, right? But it's such a non-factor. So, as someone who is making considerably less than $1 million a year, I can tell you for sure that anyone who's making multiple million, you can tax the hell out of them, man. They're gonna be all right. Of course, they're gonna be mad because a lot of these people are greedy. It's never enough, which is why you see people that are very wealthy and they get involved in schemes and things like that. It's just greed, right? So the greedy nature would make them mad about having to pay more taxes and also the other thing that they're dealing with is, and I guess is also greed. So if I have a net worth of, let's say $200 million, right? I have a massive house and, I'm driving, Rolls Royce, the latest Rolls Royce, right? Some nice cars, right? But my neighbor who has a net worth of, let's say, I don't know, $800 million. He's driving a Bugatti, right? I fly on a private jet through a program that I pay into monthly. The neighbor down the street with the 800 million, maybe he leases his own private jet. So what does that mean? Even with all the money that I have, I still have someone who is living down the block who is making me feel insecure, right? I have a jealousy. So I gotta make more money, right? So if I'm that kind of a mindset, then any way that I can increase my wealth, I'm all for it. So the idea of me paying more taxes, I mean, I'm already poor compared to the guy with the Bugatti down the block because all I could afford is just a little Rolls Royce, right? So the idea of you taxing me more, my goodness, because obviously the taxes, taxes are going to affect you the lower your income, the lower your net worth, right? So taxing me more would affect me more than the guy with the Bugatti, right? Let's say on a more aggressive situation where I have to sell my Rolls Royce and now I have just a mid-level Lamborghini instead, half the price. The Bugatti guy ends up selling his Bugatti and now he's driving a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? But still, just greed and insecurity is going to make me mad and like, oh goodness, taxes, they're taxing us too much. But trust me, man, I would say once I passed maybe, I would say $130,000, $140,000. Obviously, everybody's finances are different, right? Depends on your financial profile. But for me, as a person who splurges tactically, meaning like I'm into cars, so I'll spend money on cars, but I'm not into jewelry. I'm not into like name brand clothing. I'm not, you're going to see me wearing all kind of whatever the latest fashion is. I don't care about any of that stuff, right? So living that kind of lifestyle, I would say $130,000, $140,000. And this is in the past, right? Inflation changes things. But, I would say, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, 130,000 and up, and I'm not really concerned about having to pay taxes. So I can assure you, anyone that you get into the when you have a net worth in the millions, right? So not I have $1 million house and I owe $800,000 on that house. I'm talking about net worth in the millions, right? So when you look at how much I owe versus how much cash I have, or that plus the value of my assets. So the equity I have in my home, the equity I have in vehicles or art, whatever it is. When the value of those things versus the amount that I owe is in the millions, man, tax away. Trust me on this one, tax away. Taxes are not something that anybody with that kind of money, it's not really a factor. Now, obviously, it's a factor in terms of greed. If you want to maximize it, I want to have not just one Rolls Royce, two Rolls Royces, right? If you're just greedy and obsessed with wealth accumulation or whatever, then it's never enough, right? So whatever low taxes you're paying is too much, right? You don't want to pay no taxes, no fees. When you buy and sell homes, you don't even want to pay the real, right? You just want more. So the people that are all worried about taxes, who are very wealthy, that's what it's about, greed, man. So I just wish that poor people and lower middle class people would stop falling for the scam, right? Tax the fuck out of these ultra wealthy people, tax the fuck out of these billionaires. Taxing them is irrelevant. The only effect it has is ego and greed. But in a country where we have so many people that are homeless, so many people without health care, right? Where it's like a first world and a third world in one country, tax the fuck out of the rich and stop playing goddamn games. Thanks for all your support, Danny, and all of my subscribers. And until next time, this is the Debate Me channel. Tax the rich.